Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes. And soon to come, the lovely Julia. Let's see if she's standing by. She's not. Never mind. She will be coming here very soon. It's Friday night on the 12th of March 2021. It's 8 o'clock here in the UK. It might be a different time where you are. And on this Sunday, you will hear on the patrons in conversation with, if you are one of my lovely patrons and support the old Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi, you will hear all about moonshine. Well, not all about moonshine, but you might hear a lot about beer, because the one and only, the incomparable Phil Clark, who used to do... well, he still does. He does a podcast called The Brit and Yankee, but he used to do a lot of sweepers and bumpers and funny little comedy things for the Vobie back in the day, back in 2005, when I used to do this Vobe show business as a podcast only from a beach hut in Worthing in West Sussex, at the foot of the Downs, at the edge of the English Channel, all that sort of nonsense. I used to do this in an actual shed. It wasn't really a beach hut, but it sounded like a beach hut. And Eric was there, weren't you there, Eric? Eric was down there in the basement doing his thing, weren't you, Eric?
That's right, sir. I was down there, sir.
There we are, you see. And he was helping out. We had Arnie on the door. He was head of security, of course. Arnie made sure that no little old ladies with handbags came in, or indeed the council, because I did have somebody once saying, if you're in a beach hut down on the seafront, how are you getting the power to the beach hut? And I said, well, along the prom, there are all these street lamps, and all these street lamps, they've got light bulbs, and in the light bulbs you can put in a little wire, and I used to get up onto the beach hut and plug it. That's what I used to tell the audience. And some of them in America, they believed it. They really did. Anyway, never mind all that gay banter. It's nice to be here on a Friday evening. The weekend is beckoning. It's just tickling us at the moment, saying, woohoo, anytime now. We're all going to go down the boozer. We're going to go and do some rollerblading, or perhaps we'll go to the ice. Oh, no, we're not doing any of those things. Basically, we're just going to sit inside because, of course, we are still, we're still in lockdown, sort of smashed in and squished up and not yet able to get out and do anything other than, of course, if you live in Worthing, walk along the prom, which is always good fun, or go to the park, or possibly go into the same wood as every other person. I don't know if you've noticed that wherever you go nowadays is everybody else has gone there as well, because you can't diversify and go to lots of different things. You all have to go to the same place. And, of course, we've all catching COVID and we've got all that, and there's little old people there with injections and things going to give you some of that. I imagine that will happen if you're one of those people who don't want to have the vaccine. When you least expect it, you'll be bending over to get the bicycle pump out to pump up your tyres. And, oh, what was that? And the little nurse in a mask and a little highway suit will go running off with a big syringe going, hee, I gotcha. That's how I imagine it all to be. Anyway, that is the world outside. But what about the world inside and our lovely audience here? We're going to find out who's there. We're just waiting for the lovely Julia to tune herself in. She's just sorting out her webcam, but we can't actually see it at the moment because it's all very dark. But we do hope that we will be able to see her very soon as she sort of defocuses and all of that. She's probably just, putting up on her lovely makeup and sorting out her hair and golden locks and all those sort of things. So that will be good. Have you had a busy week? Have you done anything exceptional this week? I mean, other than stepped outside and then stepped inside. We've had rain. We've had wind. We haven't had snow. I was told, I really was. Every time in the last couple of weeks when I've been outside in the sunshine, we got rid of all that snow and I went out in the sunshine. I made a few videos because I do that, And I kept being told by people, said, don't enjoy it. We're going to have more snow. More snow is coming. Never came. Where did this other snow come? I haven't seen it. I looked high and low for it. Under bridges, I looked under the bottoms of old vehicles. Couldn't see it. Nowhere to be seen. Has somebody stashed the snow? I mean, there's a little bit of snow in my fridge, but that's not the same thing as the stuff that falls out of the sky in sort of crystalline fashion. Yeah, that's not it. So I don't know where this snow was. Anyway, look, there are lots of people here. The lovely Julia is trying. She's got her camera on, ladies and gentlemen, but it's black. It's black as the ace of spades. I can prove that because, look, there it is. It's there. It's black. She's there. Oh, look, there she is. There she is. My goodness, what's happened? She's smiling at us there. Look at all that. It's an outrage. Have you got it sorted? What are you doing? Have you got a flap in front of it? Hang on, I need to put my headphones on. Have you got a flap in front of it, lovely Julia? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Is your volume up? Yeah, your volume's up. Why can't
flap.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Flap.
Oh, why have you got a flap?
I don't know. Just how the webcam comes. Hang on a minute.
Oh, I see. Oh, the webcam. Oh, I see. I thought you'd switched it on and it had gone into that mode where, it goes all dark and you're going, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? Darling, the webcam's not working very well. I thought there was mild panic, but there we are.
No. It's just me getting everything sorted while I'm finished dashing around like a lunatic. Apologies for my lateness today, everybody.
Oh, that's all right. We've got used to it now. It's all part of the show, isn't it? It gives me 5 minutes of absolute nonsense to spiel out.
I reckon next time I should not open that little lens cap until we've got enough likes.
Yes, thanks. How many likes have we got so far?
We have 29 so far and two down likes.
Oh, good. 2 down likes. We do like a few down likes. There are people who put the down like on before the show even starts, which is lovely. It's very comforting to know that people are that bothered by the show that they'll still engage with it by giving us a down like, because that's actually in our favour. All of those things are in our favour. Lovely Julia, I believe there are some people out there in the Vobes sphere. I'm not sure how many. I'm just going to go and have a look and regurgitate.
I'm actually going to have to sort out my echo.
Oh, have you got your echo? I know, yes, of course you have. You haven't now. I've turned it off.
There you go.
There we are. Sorry about that. I have to turn that on in order so that we can hear the music. The little diddly. I don't know how it goes. Can you sing it? Could you sing it without
donkey?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
No.
I always recognise it when I hear it, but I can't always call it when I'm not listening to it.
And little Joe, apparently, he dances to it, doesn't he?
He does. He does his little bobbing up and down dance.
Oh, that's marvellous. Should we find out if there's any interesting people out there watching? Do you want to do a roll call or something?
There is.
We know that there is, but do you want to do a bit of
name them.
Okay, on your marks, set, go.
We have the lovely Station Master's Choice, the lovely Josephine Suter, the lovely Robert Brailsford, the lovely Colonel Craig Ratty, the lovely Bonnie H, the lovely Tall Podge Rog, the lovely Anna Jones, the lovely Andrew Norris, the lovely Mark Burgess, the lovely Sensible Paul, the lovely Sean Ford, the lovely Kerry Baldwin, the lovely... Did I miss anyone just up there? No, we didn't. Scrolling back down. The lovely Alison O'Brien, the lovely Michael Thornley, the lovely Steve Baker, the lovely Glyn Horton, the lovely G Ramps, the lovely Ringer Owen, the lovely Kate Evans, the lovely Cerny Samat. I nearly said Cerny Amat.
Oh, nice name, Cerny Amat. Cerny Amat, ladies and gentlemen, live tonight.
We have the lovely Dave Evad, the lovely Kerry Baldwin, Did I say already? Never
I have
mind.
no idea.
Again. The lovely. Putting you on hold, guys. The lovely wrong Langley.
Yeah, we've got the wrong Langley. Could with the right Langley please come in, please? The right one. We don't want the wrong one.
Definitely put the G in the wrong place there. Ron Langley, the lovely.
Yes.
We have the lovely Linda Kane, the lovely Jen Coley, the lovely Clive Waterfall, the lovely Tracy Murphy, the lovely Mark Donny McLeod, the lovely Sensible Paul, the lovely Jeff Sussex, the lovely Laura Noel B, the lovely Holly and Co, the lovely Ian Dance, the lovely Leonard Smith, the lovely Daniel Watkins, the lovely. There's a lot of chat there. There's a lot of chat. And
Are you? Is it slow to come up on your screen? Because I can see people like Robert Croser, Sean James Cameron, Mark Flinders.
I'm going right from the top and then
the
scrolling
Eastbourne couple, Bonnie H, Andrew Norris, Trev's Travels.
Oh, we've got the Eastbourne couple out there today. Oh, hello.
Elaine Whitlock, Attenborough Eagles, Josephine Souter. Have you mentioned all that? Robert Brailsford.
All the lovely. Did you say Mark Flinders?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So plenty of people. Anyway, listen, there's 100 of them out there. We can't. I think we may have to stop doing this after a while because it just seems to take forever. And I don't mean that in a critical sense. It's just that people might yawn at their home, go, yeah, okay, we're all lovely and we're all here. She's looking at me as if I've said something wrong.
No,
good. That's it. Brilliant. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad you're all here and I'm glad you're all paying attention and I'm glad you're all lovely. Office hours, says Robert Croce. Busy Andrew, not available. Don't know what that means, but that's what he's saying and it's great to see it. On the show, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, what do you think we've got, Julia?
Some videos?
Yes, we have. Do you know, we have got some videos, and I'm glad you said that. Stephen Agger is out there with a video. Andrew Norris has lost his dog. And Michael Thornley has got some, an animal in particular. In fact, the canine variety gets a bit of a highlight in today's show. Bernie's back with a second dollop of Winchelsea. Raymond is on the violins. And Richard McGowan has got us a lovely seascape. We also have photographs. Robin Jones has brought us somebody famous. Not that I could tell you who he is, but apparently he is famous. Robert Brailsford has some photos of something. I have no idea what it is, but that's his way of doing things. And Mark Burgess is proving that he once upon a time had Morris Travellers. That's all on the Vobes show this evening. And the lovely Julia, of course, is going to be singing us a song. Sing a song, a sixpence, a pocket full of Rice Krispies. 24 blackbirds got baked in a pie, and they didn't take the feathers out, so neither will I. Eat it.
Mark Johnny McLeod is asking if we have any art.
Art? No, we've got no art. No art in today's show. No art. We got some videos, some pictures. No art at all. Well, actually, I think Mark Burgess has sent in pictures of some art that is. I can't remember who it was now, Mark. I've got it on the email. A friend or a cousin or a neighbour or somebody at a shop that you went and took a picture through, or it was on the post. I can't remember. It's on the email and it's brilliant. It's very interesting, but very difficult, as he said, to actually photograph it. So that was one of the problems with that. I think we should start. Let's start in a lively mood with a bit of music, shall we? Shall we get a video going? Because we don't want to end up with that thing where we suddenly go, oh, and here's 5 videos right at the end. So I think now Raymond. Do you remember Raymond? Raymond's Albion 88.
Albion Ray. Is
That's it. Lovely. Yeah. Ray of Drop of Sun. What do you think he's going to play for us? A ray of drop. There's a clue there. A ray of golden sun.
Doe a deer maybe.
Doe a deer. It is a bit of Doe a deer. He does actually do Doe a deer. We're sinking fast because we've hit an iceberg. But that might not be what you're thinking. Let's go and have a look.
You can set on here a quartet, so you can play 4 instruments with 1 keystroke. And this is a quartet, in this case, of violins and violas. And that's the sort of chamber music sound you can get with it. Now, one of the most famous string quartets, of course, was on the Titanic. And they played something like this. then the ship sank.
I hope the ship didn't sink as a result of them playing that. Did they have that backing track as well? Did they? I'm sure back in those days. That is incredible. That is incredible. No wonder they were all tapped up. Perhaps they were all tap dancing down the wrong end of the ship. And because they'd all gone down that end, they're all like tap dancing to the music, that it sort of just tipped the nose down just before it hit the iceberg. And then they couldn't steer it in time and bang. And that was it. It's just a theory. I may be right.
It's one theory.
It is one theory, and it could be completely and utterly wrong. But yeah, so that was very nice. Violins on the Titanic. Have you ever been on the Titanic, Julia?
Can't say I have. No.
No. They did they ever raise it, or is it still at the bottom of the ocean?
No, that's still at the bottom.
It's still at the bottom.
Yeah, where it rests in two places.
Oh, in two. One in America and one in Southampton. No, obviously not.
No, they're at least half a mile apart. I can't remember exactly how far apart, but the back end and the front end, I mean.
Oh, I see. Did what they just drifted away as it sank?
Well, yes, as they broke apart, the back, the front end sank. Or,
yeah,
and then the back end slowly went down after that, or something like that.
Leonardo DiCaprio, whatever his name is, was in that, wasn't he? Yeah, he was in that. Leonardo DiCaprio, but he must have escaped. But he dies in the film, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, but he escapes.
Characters, right?
Yeah, because he's in other films. I never quite understood that. I mean, there he was on the deck, and they fall in the water. And I mean, I haven't seen the film, but I've seen bits of it, and I understand. I'm led to believe that he did die in it, and yet he turns up in other films. So there's something fishy going on.
Well, if you think that's fishy, you should go and check out Sean Bean.
Oh yeah, Sean Bean.
Almost every role he's been in, he dies.
Does he?
Almost every.
Oh, is he like a cat with 9 lives?
I think he's a dozen cats, one after the other.
I mean, I remember watching David McCullum, and he did The Invisible Man. Well, after that role, you never saw him.
Whenever I hear Invisible Man, I have the Queen song in my head.
Oh, yeah. How does that go?
Invisible Man, incredible how you can see right through me.
Don't know that one.
Oh.
No.
Not a Queen fan, huh?
Well, I do like the Queen, although, of course, all this blooming this racial stuff that's been going on, that is a bit grim. But I didn't know that she sang The Invisible Man. I can imagine her sitting on her throne going, "The Invisible Man and I." Yeah.
I would love to hear her sing that.
That would be hilarious.
Do you know, Sean James Cameron says Titanic 2 is set to launch in 2022. Are they actually building another one and calling it the same name?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about the film, the Titanic 2. Excuse me, that would be a great film, wouldn't it? There was a film called Raise the Titanic. Certainly it was a book, but I think there was a film and a stage play. I'm sure there was going to be a musical and a puppet show. There'll probably be a podcast, a live YouTube channel, and no doubt, what else can you possibly have that I have yet to have managed? A newspaper.
Oh, right, it is just a film remake. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, it's a film remake. Oh, there we are.
It's the way you said launched. It made me think the ship.
Yes. Marvellous. The ocean is, Michael Thornley says, the ocean is, she says, is what, sinking fast? Oh, no, that's wrong. The ocean, I've lost it. The ocean is very deep where it is. Well, I should hope so. Don't want it washing up on the floor. I watched a thing, I can't remember where it was, on a YouTube something or other, and there was this deep sea diver. Unfortunately, he wasn't wearing the brass helmet and all of that, and the sort of, use the forks, Lou. He was underwater, scooping up these masks, these surgical masks that all these people are wearing, and I think it was on the BBC. It was on a something, and they were having a go at what's the name of the Doom Goblin? Laura Thornburg, or whatever her name is.
Oh, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, Greta Thunderbirds. And we've got a thing, and we have a phone call. Hello, caller.
Sean from London.
Oh, Sean from London.
Originally from Wales.
Just before we go off the topic, I thought about Titanic 2 is a replica of the first Titanic. It cost $500 million. and is due to launch in 2022. And it's going to go along the same route as the original Titanic.
Oh, you're not talking. You're not talking about a film then.
No,
it sounds
and
not.
where the Titanic 1 sank,
Yes.
it's going to stop for a 2-minute silence.
A 2-minute silence.
We didn't stop too long. Might be another iceberg along.
And then it's going to continue on to New York.
I thought you meant. You see, if they'd bought now cleverly, if I had been in charge, I would have made a Titanic that looks like the Titanic, but is actually a submarine. So I would have got to the actual point, and then I would have had a 2-minute submerge.
A 2-hour submerge to go down. And
Yeah, you could have just, sunk like that. Everyone
Or
would have
what
been.
they could do is they could just stop the boat and show the film.
Well, that would be, is it 2 hours, 3 hours? Might be
Yeah.
too much.
Someone said in the chat that there's been 3 films, hasn't there?
Has there? What was that? I know there was Raise the Titanic. There was Please Don't Make Another Film About the Titanic. And, oh, God, It's a Titanic by any other name. I think what were the names of the films of the It's funny how this channel gets weird subjects. Have you got a pond on your plot, Sean James Cameron from
I
London?
will be having a pond, but there's actually been 11 movies made of the Titanic.
11? Are you sitting there on Google?
How might be called Saved from the Titanic.
Jane Fonda's Titanic.
Saved from the Titanic.
Oh, Saved from the Titanic, yeah.
Something called Ich dachte sich Titanic.
Oh, was that a German one?
version.
Atlantic. Then there was Titanic, which came out in 1943.
Yes.
Then another Titanic that came out in 1953. And then A Night to Remember in 58. Then SOS. And then Raise the Titanic in 1980. And then I've got to wait for the page to refresh.
And Hammer and Spanner Man has the one that I wanted to see. Carry On Titanic. No,
sounds like a
no.
corker.
Stop mucking about.
I can never understand why they didn't ever make a Carry On film based on an allotment site.
Oh, well, I can imagine that would be so boring. But Carry On the Titanic. Oh, no, look, there's an iceberg.
Oh, it's going down on me. It's
Everyone,
going down on
quick, into the lifebelts. No, and matron, you can come with me. Stop mugging about.
You need a bit of ice in that thing.
Yes, they're in the joke sort of been hilarious. At, of course, the death of all those poor innocent people, and I think it's tragic that people could even laugh. It's too soon. Too soon. Now's all right. But yeah, the terrible. No, Carry On Titanic. Spanner and Hammerman. Hammer and Spannerman. Oh, whatever. It's hilarious. I wish I could do Sid. Can you do a Sid James? George? Yeah, obviously not. So he's difficult.
No.
He is difficult to do. He is difficult to do. Charles Hawtrey would have been great on the Titanic, wouldn't he? He'd have just been in the bar drinking.
Let me see if I can do that again. This is my impression. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's great. A bit tinny, but it was very film-like. It was like it had come out of a 1950s film. Oh, dear. Anyway, take care. Lovely to talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao for now, buddy.
Kenneth Connor would have been good on the Titanic. He could have been the captain looking out to sea going, "Oh, Nora." That's from Carry On Sergeant, that one. The first Carry On film, Carry On Sergeant, in actual fact. Yeah. And I can't remember I think Carry On Teacher was the second one, and then a Carry On Nurse or Carry On Hospital or Carry On whatever it was. The Carry Ons are fantastic. Peter Rogers and Gerald Thomas, who were the producer and director, and there was famous people in it. Jeffrey Harrison says, I tried to get tickets for Titanic too, but just for steerage, it's £2,500.
Wow.
So there really is a ship, the Titanic 2.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I could look this up.
Carry On Cruising, first one in colour. Yes, that was a funny old film. When they went into colour, it wasn't the same. Carry On Constable was hilarious. Constable. It was just Carry On Spying was quite good as well. Cafe, what did he say? Jim Dale was in them, wasn't he? Cafe Nero, 2:00 or something. I can't remember now, but I used to love it. Anyway, we better now. Robert Brailsford said something earlier about some pictures. Hang on, I'm scrolling back up, scrolly, because he said I sent details of my pictures. It's Snails Brook, dammed by coal miners to form a bathing pool. The last picture shows the bathing huts positioned along the pool. Well, let me tell you, Monsieur Robert Brailsford. Oh, Benita's sent some art in, by the way. I've just seen it in the email, but we'll get to that in a minute. Because Robert Brailsford says, I've sent you 3 photos. The miners' dam at Snailsbrook, Redstock. The local miners formed a dam to create a bathing pool. It had a spring diving board, a high dive staging, water polo nets. There was a small charge for the swimmers. It was 6 foot deep at the dam deep end, tapering off to 3 foot at the other end. So make sure you don't dive into the wrong end because you'll be in trouble. And he did send some pictures. One of the pictures, I have to say, however, did not come out. When I tried to show it in the thing, it didn't work. I don't know why that is. I'm just trying to find where these sodding pictures are. So these are the pictures as I have received them. There's 4 of them, and I guess this is picture number 1, and this must be the bathing pool that the miners made, which is now a bit overgrown, and I personally wouldn't want to go swimming in it, but this was a while ago. Very nice. Thank you. And I'm not quite sure what this
It's like molehills.
Yes, molehills. Robert, it's very nice of you to send them in, but I'm confused. This is a waterfall, which might have been the shower changing room after the pool. I'm not too sure. And finally, all I've got is that, which is on the wrong way up. But wait a minute, I've just noticed there's a thing here.
Haha.
So that's the waterfall that we just saw. That's the last picture that I could get to work, Robert. So thanks for that. But it's been marvellous. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to upset him because he sent me a nice phone, which we use in the show. He's a lovely bloke. And I got an abusive email from him the following after the last show. Only in a friendly way. At least I took it in a friendly way. He's a lovely bloke. And I have to be careful. He might ring me and up. So, anyway, there we go. The lively... What are they talking about now, lovely? Carry On Constable. Yes, first bare bottoms in Carry On Constable. Is that a factum totem pole?
Totem factum pole.
Yes, could be. Clive Waterfall says, remember seeing a reproduced Punch cartoon of a polar bear injuring with White Star Line officials about the fate of the iceberg?
Yes.
And you don't want steerage. They all drowned, says Colonel Cragratty. Yeah, 2,500 for the privilege of drowning. Big coalfields, says Hammer and Spanner Man, around Radstock.
Terry Banton's asking after Eric, I believe.
Yes, Eric seems to be all right. He's down there in the bay. Tonight, he's. I've had to keep him in, and I've bound and gagged him so he can't do too much damage because... I found him the other day. He was gnawing through a steel pipe, trying to get out. So I've had to curtail that. I'm afraid, a very friendly way. I bashed him over the head with a mallet, and he is actually
very friendly bashing.
Yeah, it's a friendly bashing. It wasn't meant to kill him, just to stun him. Then I was able to, otherwise I'd never have got near him to bind him up with all the bindweed and Japanese hogweed. So that's where it is. Bonnie says, my seagull is in the art called Eddie Bigfoot and the dog is called Zorro. Yes. Glad you reminded me, Bonnie. I will go forthwith, or with force, and see if I can find the... here it is. It is a picture. Oh, yes. So is this something you did yourself, Bonnie? Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, Bonnie was telling us about her beach hut?
Yes, I recall that.
Yeah. Well, this is obviously her beach hut, and here is a picture of it. Would you like to see it?
Yes.
£5.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, thank you. So here it is. I guess that is Bonnie there with, is that your mum, Bonnie? And what, oh, she did say, didn't she? Hang on. She says that the seagull in the art is called Eddie, Bigfoot. Where is the seagull? Oh, yes, I can see him.
On the chair.
On the chair. And the dog is called Zorro. And who is the lady there with the pint of beer?
And it's her auntie.
Oh, it's your auntie. There we are. There's a bigger picture of it. And there's presumably Bonnie with a glass of Pimm's by the looks of things.
That is a beautiful, beautiful drawing, isn't it?
Isn't that good? Is that a self-portrait? Did you do it yourself, or did somebody come along and do it for you? It's amazing. It's lovely. And the beach hut, if your beach hut is like that, cool. Look at the size of that kettle in relation to the gas cooker.
Yeah.
Plenty of tea.
There's a mirror back there, and you can see the back of her head and arm and mug. I love that.
Oh, yeah. The detail is amazing.
It's impeccable. I love it.
Absolutely. We want to know who did it. Who did it? Is this
Bonnie.
Is it your own work? Fantastic. I commissioned an artist, says Bonnie.
Yeah.
It's lovely. And so where does it hang? Does it hang on your wall? It's very good. It's lovely, isn't it? I should get an artist to do one with us in the studio or something. That would be quite fun, wouldn't it, Julia?
Mm.
When we're allowed to frequent inside places once again.
That's right. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Grand. All right. Fantastic. Thank you very much. That was nice. If you want to send in some art to the Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Shobi, if you've commissioned someone to take your full portrait in wax, then do send that picture in. Just send it by email. Take a picture of it first or whatever, and then send it to richard@vobes.com. That is the email. richard@vobes.com. Easy to remember. Right, time to go up and be a bit windy now, up by the Jack and Jill Windmills. Who do you suppose, what lovely contributor of ours do you think has sent this one in? Out of Stephen Agger, Andrew Norris, Michael Thornley, Bernie the Bolt, Raymond Baxter, or Richard Madeley?
I'm going to take a guess and say Stephen Agger.
Well, you're bloody right. Absolutely spot on. You win the Star Prize.
The star prize is a lifetime with Joe.
Oh, that's good. I was hoping I had that anyway.
Yeah, well, you have. Well, you know, he was going to leave home when he was sort of between 18 and 20-something.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah, but now he's staying for the rest of his life because he won that special ticket. Let's go in and have a look at the Jack and Jill. Well, mostly the Jill. I don't think we see Jack, but the wonderful views up there at Clayton in East Sussex.
Hi Richard and G Vobes is out there. Stephen O'Gray. I'm in the South Downs with Jill Yarmy. Orsenary Hill, straight ahead of me. We've got Hassocks over that way. Keema and Ditchling and the World. It's about 6 Celsius at the moment. I just walked from Ditchling Big and now I'm walking back down to Hassocks. That's 4 shirts too. Lovely views.
Fantastic. There we go. That felt like I've been up there now and got a little bit windswept. It seemed a bit windy up there, but fantastic to be up on the downs. Lovely. And of course, Julia, you must remember the day that we went to see them at the Jill Windmill. What a lovely day we had there.
It's such a lovely windmill, isn't it?
And so beautifully restored.
Yes, and in such a picturesque position as well.
And it was so nice of them to strap you to the sweeps and let you go revolving around. Although upside down was a bit hair raising. But I had to. I mean, we never showed that footage, did we? I don't know where it is now. I think Eric's has got it in the archive somewhere. But that was but a lovely one. And then, of course, if you look down, and you did see it in that video, if you look down, you see Oldlands Mill that Julia and I also went to and made another video.
Another lovely mill.
Another lovely mill, which is older than Jill.
That's right.
So that was
among the last example of its kind as well, apparently.
Exactly. There we are. There's no other, because we've been around making sure by burning all the other windmills, didn't we? Because we only want.
Not supposed to tell everybody about that.
Sorry about yes. Setting fire to windmills, the wind arsonist mills. Ernie Samet says, interesting to hear a siren. I haven't heard an emergency siren since we moved from the horrid London on the 1st of September. Where was that? In the video that we just played, did you hear a distant siren? They don't do that anymore, do they? They make noises that are difficult to imitate.
Do they?
Yeah, apparently. Didn't you have a jacket on? Is Eric loose? I did have a jacket on, but I've also put the fire on because it was chilly in here, and it's no longer chilly in here.
Just curious, is it a fire or is it a radiator?
It's a
or a heater.
It's a fire heater.
a fajita, is it?
Yes, it's a fajita for heating my feeter. My lovely little feeter. Alvin says, we have a plot in Clayton, natural burial ground. Mike Dixon, who we don't hear from so much these days, but Mike Dixon and Bella have got the same plot. Not the same plot. Not Bella. I don't know that Bella is allowed to go down there because she'll have to go there first, presumably. Not planning to use it yet. Yeah, that's right. Apparently you can get these things where you... I don't know how it works. I just think they just dump the bodies and they biodegradably... whatever they do. Bit of a stench, if you come in and there's been a few deaths, like in the last year, anybody who's got that would be piling up everywhere. It would be a bit awful. But over time, lots of marigolds would be worn, but lots of flowers would come up. Mm-hmm. Or stinging nettles.
A woodland plot.
A woodland, yes. Well, I still on the two minds whether to buy a small holding or a piece of woodland.
I meant for my gravesite, but yeah.
oh, I see. Yeah.
I'd love to be guardian of a woodland as well. That'd be awesome.
Guardian of a woodland.
In my lifetime.
Do you want a little hut at the entrance? And
yeah. I'd love to build a nice timber framed house and then build the walls with bales of straw. There's a fellow that did that on I can't even remember what program it was on TV years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It was lovely. But the whole idea is it's sustainable and it can be removed and it can be like was never there in a short period of time.
I would love to. I would love to own a woodland that you were allowed to chop all the trees down. Because I would love to make I know this is not going to suit Julia very much, but I would love to be able to have a woodland in which you probably, I don't know how many you it's about 50 or 60 trees you need to make a timber framed house. It might be more. It's amazing how much wood, in the sort of Elizabethan style, not this Elizabeth, the early Elizabethan style, the first one, Elizabeth I, whenever she was around 1600 and something, or just before, wasn't it? 15, because 1605, didn't she pass away about then? About 4:05 in the afternoon, and then James from Scotland came down and said, "Oh, all right, then I'll take over." Anyway, was it James? I get confused. It was Henry and Mary and Elizabeth, and then was it James the First, and then we get into the Charleses. Anyway, not the Charles, the Stuarts. Anyway, my point is, I would love to make a timber framed house in the old-fashioned way and use wattle and daub and make it and live in a house like that I've made that looks like that with a thatched roof that is all of that. And I know people say, "Oh, but it'll be cold. It'll be terrible. It'll be nasty. It'll be cold." I would love it. Get a nice Essie in there, and
I'd build a summer house out of that.
Yeah. Jeff Harrison, who is quick off the mark over there, has sent me here we are, have a look at the web page here so that we can actually see the QE2, not the QE2, what am I talking about? The Titanic 2. That doesn't look anything like the Titanic one. That's I wouldn't want to go on that.
It doesn't even look like the image used in the in the Wikipedia page of Titanic 2.
No, does it not?
No.
Can't get out of it now.
I'll put the link in the bottom.
Oh, I just killed my email to try and. How do I get? Oh, I'm stuck in this. No, I'm stuck in it. Oh,
Do you press the little?
Yeah, it's always these little X buttons, and then I don't know. Anyway, so if you wanted, so he was true when he was saying this is Blue Star Line. I thought it was White Star Line, the original one. The building cost was £400 million. You were done. 400 million pounds? What, for a boat?
Crikey.
You don't want to bang that against the side. Crikey.
No, definitely not.
It's quite heavy. Its gross tonnage is 55,800 gross tons, whatever a gross ton is.
I'm not sure.
No, it's quite long. It's 886 feet long. It's 105 foot wide, or beam, as they call it in the Navy, in the shipbuilding world. And apparently it was built in China. So I hope they've fired it, because otherwise it'll go soggy. You know what clay's like when it gets wet. So, yeah, thanks for that. Hang on, how do I get out of this?
Going back to the gross tonnage, it's going to be 10,000 GT heavier than the original.
Is
looking
it?
at the Wikipedia page.
Oh, good. I'm glad you did that. I've got to sign back into the emails now. Would you like to see somebody famous?
Go on then. Yes, let's see someone famous.
Okay.
Who could it be?
Oh, we're having trouble finding your site. Why is that? Because I didn't put a dot in the right place. There we are. Mr. Dotty, richard@vobes.com is... well, I'll try again. Oh, you still can't find it. What is the matter?
And Mark Donny McLeod says you could build a half a starship for that. Do you know what? I'd love for them to build. You know, do you remember Sequest?
No.
TV was kind of a sci. Was it science fiction? Well, it's just a big submarine that used to go on missions of exploration, kind of like Star Trek but under the water.
Sean James Cameron has sent me something whilst we're on the building of things, and he's built this house here. Let's have a picture of it in Wales by hand.
Oh wow!
And he says it's more like a hut, isn't it? But maybe there's more to it than it meets the eyeballs.
Maybe it's a tiny home.
It is tiny. We can. Let me just have a quick poke in. I don't know if this is all copyright or whatever.
Wow.
Look at that. That looks nice, doesn't it?
And that's what you call rustic. But nice rustic. Not that rustic isn't horrible.
No. I wonder how much it, presumably bought the land and then he had to buy enough logs to make the thing. And it looks like there's a lot of render around the logs, but I guess it's or cement or something. Interesting. There we are. There's an interior picture for you.
Oh, it's got a roundhouse part of it.
A roundhouse with a bunk bed up there. Not a bunk, but a maisonette floor or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And a lovely fire going up there. Terrific. Looks great, doesn't it? Very comfortable. Thank you very much for sending that in.
Who did you say built this?
Somebody. Hang on. Yeah, I'll have to hang on. I'll find out. This is Chris Harbour's natural building. On a website, if you want to look at it, 226,000 subscribers, a couple more than I've got. Swine.
Apparently, it was built using items from the land, so it was all, from the land,
right.
Which is exactly what the guy built. The storehouse.
I guess you still have to get planning permission to build it, and presumably you still have to submit the plans to the local authorities. I imagine. I mean, I don't know. You can't just buy land and build on it, I don't think. Not in any permanence. Of course not, says Linda Kane. But she's actually talking to Andrew Norris. But fascinating. Fascinating. Right, we're going to see somebody famous. Right, this is difficult. Richard, continuing on the famous people, says Robin Jones. This one is difficult, though. Bernie will get it. Oh, right. Here is a clue for the audience. Prepare for the clue. He was half Native American and a drummer. He was half Native American and a drummer. But who is he? Can you tell from this picture? To be honest, he looked like he was somebody just setting up the stage and has fallen asleep. But I have no idea.
Was that one of the Chuckle Brothers?
Yeah, one of the Chuckle Brothers. He looks like he's come back from the pub, whoever this chap is. I've never seen him before in my entire life. So
Only Samat says Keanu. I don't think it's Keanu Reeves.
Robert Croster says it's his dad. There you go. It's my dad. Nathan Phillips, says Sean James Cameron. I can't tell you because I didn't look at the... I must go and look at the answer. Anybody else? Any other guesses? Any other guesses? Come on now. Come on. You can get it. Come on. A top prize, £400,000. A ride on my back. Or you can have a little trip on the Titanic 1. Jeff Harrison says it's not my back. Richard's brother. Thank you. I should know him, but amnesia has taken over, says Stasia. Is it Spartacus? Is it Eric? No, it's definitely not. Nobody's going to get it. Gene Kruber, whoever that is. John Desmonde from the Doors.
Densmore.
It's Jimmy Carl Black, original drummer with the great Frank Zappa band, The Mothers of Invention.
Wow.
Does that mean anything to you?
It does. Not as much as it could do.
Never. Oh, that's my email. We don't want to show that. Thank you. Not that there's anything terribly to hide in there, but it's my email. Yeah, so there we go. I don't know. I've never heard of him. But then I haven't heard of Zap Blacker. What did he say it was called? Frank Zappa, the mother of... I don't really know what that means. Is the mother of invention a song? Or... Oh, right. Oh, right. Frank Zappa's not the name of the band. Like Frankie Goes... Oh, okay. Yes, okay, cool. Is it Diane Abbott, says Michael White? Oh, dear, it's all good fun, isn't it? Brilliant. Feature update. What is that? I don't know what that... Oh, that's something else. Brilliant. Okay, let's go and... Right, it's time for a bit of something clever and artistic now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go over to Croatia, where this is how you arrange an art event, because Andrew Norris is the master of this type of thing, and he's lost his dog. Just makes you want to go over there now, doesn't it? Makes you want to go over there and see how many of these pictures you can spot. That was very clever stuff.
Love that. It was lovely seeing those paintings when he originally showed them to us, but seeing the behind the scenes, that was brilliant. Loved it. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, how interesting. And what a way to get your art out there onto the street. And what happens? Did not Bill Stickers come up to you and prosecute you? Because he's always being prosecuted, Bill Stickers, as well as Bill Posters, his brother, his bigger brother. How does that go about? I mean, are you allowed just to slap them on the walls? Presumably not, because you went undercover, didn't you? Under the cover of darkness. Didn't anybody question you when you're going around with a big tub of glue, slapping it on? Or did you just do it for the video and then go back and quickly whip them off again? I'd love to know the secret behind that. But what a great idea. Loved it very much.
Mm-hmm. Zorro's such a lovely, handsome boy. Bonnie H says, your Zorro looks like my Zorro, half collie.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's the other half?
Don't know. But yeah, that's 2 Zorro dogs we've seen today. One in both in painting, basically.
Yeah, they're both drawn versions. They're still up, says Andrew Norris. Fantastic.
Wow.
So will they just stay up until the council take them down, or whomever the authorities are in Croatia? Or do you go back and then take them off? How does that work? You're second only to Ed Loud. He's sort of the Banksy of the Croatian world, isn't he?
Yeah.
I hope that none of those are self-destructing pictures that as you sell it, they self-destruct or anything like that. Didn't Banksy do one of those?
Andrew Norris says, well, as people can't get to the galleries, I took the art to the people.
Yeah,
That's
good idea. I would like to see great big boards with like the old sandwich men, the sandwich boards. They used to wear a board at the front and the board at the back. I'd like to see you wandering around with that as a sandwich board. Could you do that and get somebody to film you wandering around? I like the idea of taking the art to the people and wandering around as an art board. Art board.
Genius.
See, I'm full of it. I'm absolutely full of it. Favourite gag of the evening so far was the submarine that looks like the Titanic 2 that stops for a 2-minute submerge. That's my favourite gag. And the second one is the sandwich board dressed up, taking the... I think that, put me down as your ideas, bloke, and I'll come up with some whacking good ideas. Dear, oh dear.
Good ideas,
whacking good ideas, yes.
Wacky good ideas, yeah.
I can see an HMS Vobes cruise to Croatia for all of us, says Michael Thornley. Wouldn't that be great? We should do that. We should hire a cruiser.
Yeah.
We could certainly hire one of those canal boats you can hire for a day for a party. We should do something once we're all allowed. It probably won't be this year. We won't be allowed out. But when normality returns, maybe we should do a big event like that and hire something. And we can all, because at least if a canal boat sinks, generally canals are about 4 feet deep. So, if it hit an iceberg, it'll be just the fact that someone's Pims fell in the drink instead.
You wouldn't get very many people on a canal boat, even the 72-footer that we had. But you could...
There are party boats, though.
Yeah, I was thinking of...
with about 50 people you can sit in.
What, on a canal boat?
Yeah, that's the one at...
Oh, yeah, they usually have their own staff to drive those as well. That would be good, yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, that was it. But what were you going to say about your brother?
No, about Portsmouth Harbour.
Oh, yeah.
The Gosport Ferry, they have...
we could take Nelson's boat out. Could we just hire that? That would be all right, wouldn't it? With one of them tall ships, those old-fashioned, the one that... What's it called? The Mayflower. Not the Mayflower, the... Victory. We could take that round the Isle of Wight. They wouldn't mind, would they? Stick an outboard motor on the back to speed it up a bit.
Yeah, not sure about that.
You're not sure? Oh, okay. Here's me coming up with all these ideas.
She's in dry dock.
Well, you could open up the door and let the water in and float her out.
You could.
Isn't that
I think she's in there for a reason.
Oh, is she a bit rotten? Kerry Baldwin says, make sure it's before 6 p.m. Oh, right. The Green MP wants to curfew men. That's right. The Greens, they're a bit bonkers, aren't they? All men,
Born in, all men got to be inside now. It's 6 p.m. Come on, in you come, men.
So what are they going to do? So there you are. You're being burgled by somebody who's breaking the law, and they're violent. So that's just going to be women that's going to face them. What about the people who put your house out with flames? Is that all going to be women? You're not going to have any firemen to do that? What about people who have got to go down into dangerous underground things? I'm not saying that women can't have equal opportunities, but I don't think all women will want to be out. Surely some men will be necessary to be out after 6 p.m, least of all those that want to go to the pub.
That was the silliest of things for someone to suggest, though, wasn't it? I mean,
and she is a lawmaker.
Just because women have been told that they must not walk out alone at night for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years, does not mean that the poll should completely reverse the other way. That's not feminism. That's stupid.
Stupidism. That's what it is. Stupidism. The thing about all this stuff, and you hear it on the thing, what nobody is saying, and I find this the worst bit, is they're going, oh, it's men, and then there's, not all men are like, oh, shut up, it's some men, you keep quiet. But what they're not sort of highlighting is the bloke who's been arrested for it, though not charged, I grant you, was a policeman who's trained to carry a gun, and so the one type of man that you're supposed to actually trust is a sodding policeman. And we know that the police are, who trusts a policeman who comes up to a little old lady having a cup of coffee on a bench and says, I'm sorry, we're going to arrest you. I mean, the trust in the police has already gone down, and nobody seems to be kicking off about the fact that it could have been this policeman who's murdered her. I find that, never mind men being out after 6 o'clock. Most, who do you trust? You don't know who to trust.
It's a crazy, crazy world out there. And it doesn't matter how well you police it, there's always going to be issues. But it's just a sad story, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. Mark Burgess says it's reminiscent of the sketches of the two Ronnies about the war of the sexes. Yes, that's right. I remember that. I've always felt safer walking at night in the countryside than in London. Absolutely, especially if there's no lights about, because I always think it's quite funny, really, because, there you are in the dark and you think, oh, there's somebody in the dark, there's somebody there. But you've got to remember, they can't see you just as you can't see them. And then probably you're able to get up a tree quicker than the, nasty murderer who's weighed down with knives and battering rams and things. So now, let me go into the art gallery. I see that Pete's sent some stuff for the gallery, but wait, before we get to that, we have Mark Burgess has sent in a picture here. Let's have a quick look at this. This, he says, Richard, as mentioned in a recent email, picture evidence. I was not on Clapham Common. Oh, sorry. Picture evidence. My dad's Morris Traveller, pre-restoration, stored in my large back garden circa 1980s. It's a bit blurry, but let's have a look. Here we go. Some people think it's a dog, but it's actually a Morris Traveller.
Really? I thought it was a sheet.
Oh, it might be a sheet. But there is some old cars in the back there. And then this picture is pretty much the same one.
But upside down.
But upside down. That's for our Australian audience. So thank you for that. That has been brilliant. And he also, I think he sent in another picture or something. Let me just go back. Mark Burgess, something my younger brother created in his earlier years. This is art, by the way. This is art. So hang on, we better go into the art gallery. Sing along if you know the words. Vobes Art Gallery, isn't it? That's very sweet. There we are. Thank you very much. So here we go. This is something that Mark Burgess's younger brother created. So it's a bit tricky to picture. So Mark, you might have to tell us what it is. Is this a 3D image, or is it a a painting, or is it like a? Because it looks like it's in a box. I can't.
It does look 3D, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very nice. Very, very fantasy.
Beautiful. I love it.
There's another version here. I don't know if that's the same picture, I think, but from a different point of view.
Yeah.
So it might be textured. Is it cut out and layered or something like that? Be fascinating to learn.
Beautiful.
And that is that's a different picture, isn't it? That's not the same. Oh no,
No, it's the same. It's the same, but from a different angle.
from a different
so
angle. Yeah.
it looks different because of the 3D aspect.
Ah, very clever. Very. I wish I could do clever stuff, but I'm just
Marvelous, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Marvelous.
I'm a simpleton. It's smorg, says Bonnie H. Not quite sure what
yes.
that means. Smorg. What's smorg?
From The Hobbit, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I never read The Hobbit.
Yeah.
I did read The Hobbit. I lied. I was just seeing if Julia noticed.
But I see fire inside the mountains. I love that song. Great song.
Or could it be Slark, says Station Master. I don't know who Slark is. You're talking another language. Mark Donny McLeod says, "I, Robert. They don't like 'em up 'em." I don't know what he's talking about. Anyone else, apart from me, seen a toad this week? I went into Morrison's. I saw quite a few unfortunate people, but none of them were toads. The phantom raspberry blower of London town, says Audrey Forbes. Yes, referring back to the two Ronnies of earlier. So there we go. It's Verminothrax.
Oh, is that the name of another dragon?
Yeah, it could be. They're just making it up now.
Oh, I've just remembered why Bonnie H said that, because she posted a couple of pictures in the Bold Explorer group on Facebook of a frog with another frog on its back. I think it was a male mating a female. But
Oh, not having a piggyback then.
no.
So in other words, you're telling me you put
a toady back.
toad porn into the Bold Explorer thing? Is that what you're saying?
It's nature.
Oh, it's nature. All right.
Might not be quite the birds and the bees, but it's the toads and the toads.
It's the toads of Toad Hall. All right, well, that's nature then. We're going to go and look at some more nature because we've seen one dog already. Now, if you remember, we had some nice birds on the show with Michael Thornley last week. We had a stork. I'm sure it was a stork or something, or what's that thing that used to be a pelican? Was it a pelican? In the birds that Michael Thornley had, you can't remember. It was in the river.
Oh,
and
the
it was,
heron.
Oh, was it a heron? It could have been a
It
heron.
was a heron.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I do a channel about heritage, landscape, and nature. I don't know the first bit of nature if it grabbed me on the bottom of my heels. However, Michael Thornley's brought in something here, something a bit canine-like. Not Doctor Who's canine, not that one, but this one. We've already seen one type of dog. This is where we're going to see another type of dog. Over to you, Michael. And Michael, at the end of that, was picking up all sorts of poo fruit on the way back. That was lovely. Wasn't that lovely?
Wasn't it just? It was so lovely.
And
John, we said that.
yeah, a lot of people appreciated that. What kind of dog is that, Julia?
Well, Bonnie H reckons it's a cockapoo, which is a cross between
A cock and a poodle.
a cocker. Oh dear, a cocker spaniel.
Oh, a
So
cocker spaniel.
My brain was stuck on cockatiel then.
Oh,
No, it's not a
cockatiel.
cross between a cockatiel and a poodle. It's a cocker spaniel and a poodle.
It's not a cock-a-hoot.
I don't know. Do we have a confirmation of what breed that was?
Yeah, what was it? So Steve Baker says it's cockapoo.
Yeah.
A cockapoo, is that a fairly modern name?
Yes, it's a fairly modern crossbreed.
Is it? We didn't have those in my day, cockapoo.
No, I think it's a hypoallergenic combo, basically.
Hyperallergenic. Isn't that something you get in hair shampoo?
No, hypo, not hyper.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Hyper. It sounds like hyperbole. Brilliant video, says Dawn Copping. And Michael White says, great Michael. He's not talking to himself there. He's talking to the other Michael. And beautiful. It made me cry, says Sean. Cry? What? I mean, it wasn't being put down or anything. It was jumping about. Sean.
No, it was just so lovely, and it was like a mini movie.
It was
This little love story between a little dog and his lovely lady owner.
Michael White says he's got a cockerapper. Not sure what that is.
Yeah, I don't think you said that.
Yeah. Dave Yvette reckons it's a St. Bernard. I think they might be a bit bigger. The most famous St. Bernard, of course, is the one in the Laurel and Hardy films, in which Stan is trying to get from the St. Bernard's neck the little barrel of brandy that allegedly they used to put in there in the Swiss Alps or whatever it was, so that if the dog could get to you, you could revive yourself with the brandy if you were trapped. And of course, Laurel and Hardy tells him that there's brandy in there, and Hardy goes out and stands on his own for a bit, plucking chickens, and he's chucking the feathers, and he thinks to himself, this is all silent, but you get it, he starts to chuck the feathers up so it looks like snow, and he lies underneath as the feathers are coming down like snow, going, oh, and he manages to get the brandy, but it takes a bit of time. Steve Baker's on the line. Let's say hello to him. Hello, Steve Baker. Hello, Steve Baker.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. That doesn't sound like Steve Baker unless he's...
It's not Steve Baker, it's Emma. The
Oh.
hidden person when Steve Baker's always talking.
Oh, fantastic. Well, there we are. See, what's the point of me putting somebody's name into the phone if for somebody completely different phones up?
Well, because I don't have your number on my phone.
Good for you.
So...
We've got to keep you on your toes somehow, don't we?
It's nice to talk to you.
Yes, it is, at last. Yes, I've been listening for weeks, so yes, it's my turn. I've heard you talking about dogs, and that's my forte. So.
Ah, marvellous. So what was that dog that we just saw on the screen?
I didn't see. I just literally came in and heard you talking about dogs, but you said it was a cockapoo. Was it a cockapoo?
Well, we think so, don't we, Julia?
Yes, we think
Oh,
so.
someone's telling me to go out because it's making a reverb. I'm not sure, but I'm a dog groomer.
Oh, are you?
Yes. So I do all the quizzes for. We do lots of competitions for what crossbreed is what and all the rest of it for fun. And that's like my forte is kind of trying to work out whether it's a beagle cross poodle or.
So tell me about the cockapoo then, and
Yes.
breeds like this. When I was a kid, I'd never heard of it. I've only heard
No,
this.
they weren't around then. They were invented in Australia. The Labradoodle was invented in Australia probably in the 90s, 80s or 90s as a hypoallergenic dog for people that wanted a work assistance dog, blind, guide for the blind.
Just explain what hyperallergenic means.
So So the poodle coat doesn't shed. The poodle coat grows and needs to be clipped. But if you've got a dog with a poodle in it, it doesn't shed. So therefore, there's no dander around the house. So if you're asthmatic or you've got allergies to dander, you don't get that.
And dander is what, the hair that, or...
It's basically the undercoat that
Oh.
comes out, and it's a very, very fine coat underneath. Like a lot of dogs have an undercoat, like a Labrador has a harsh coat on the outside to keep them waterproof, but the dander is on the inside, and that's the very, very fine bit that you can't see, but that's what causes your allergies, your sniffling and your sneezing. So the poodle coat doesn't have that. There's lots of breeds that are hypoallergenic. You've got the Lhasa Apsos, which we have.
The larger
poodle.
what? Larger raptors?
Larger raptors. No, they are Apsos, which is APSOS. That's Apso. That means a long-coated breed.
Oh, okay.
And they're from Lhasa in the Himalayas.
Oh. And
So
so
they're
presumably they would keep you warm. That kept them warm by having the long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So their coat.
So you
is
just got to remember,
hypoallergenic.
I am very thick, and so that's why I sometimes have to have these things explained to me.
They've been called lots, the Lhasa Apsos. They've been called Velociraptors and everything else. Don't worry.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So
Hang
so
on a
I
second.
see. So these things like the cockapoodle, or whatever you call it.
Cockapoos, yeah.
They were specially, they weren't just sort of a bit of a whimsy, because the name obviously sounds a bit fun, but they were
Yes.
actually designed with that idea to make them
Yeah.
so that
To make them...
people
well,
who
the
didn't
food-
have people who had allergies
Yeah.
could own a dog.
Yes, exactly. And
Oh,
well,
okay.
really, it was more for the working dog. So Cocker Spaniels traditionally are a working dog. Poodles were a hunting dog designed to go in the water. And they're very, very intelligent. Cocker Spaniels are very intelligent. They're all dogs that were used for like helping the disabled. But obviously, a lot of people that needed help were allergic. So this is where the poodle cross came in.
Right. So poodle is an old breed, is it?
Oh yeah, poodle's one of the oldest breeds. Yeah.
And is it only recently that people doll them up in very silly fashions? Or is that
I
is
think-
it natural that they look like a sheep that's been sort of miniaturized?
I think nowadays, I don't know if you watch that program on TV, Pooch Perfect. Did you see that?
I don't have a television.
Oh, that recently there's been a television show which has caused like a big hoo-ha in the grooming world and all the rest of it. Because I think, like you say, when we were younger, you had a dog, it lived in the yard, perhaps came in the kitchen. Did you worm it? Maybe not. You know, he fed it pedigree chum and that was the rest of it.
We never tried to push worms inside it. We never did that. I can tell you. That would just be gross.
But nowadays, the whole dog world is such a different thing. And there is competitions to paint your dog and trim your dog. There's lots of different things. There's obviously a dog-
Hang on a minute. Paint your dog? What are you doing? Painting
gosh,
it?
it's a whole bit. It's a whole thing.
Does the dog have any say in this?
The dogs are generally owned by dog groomers and people who are artistic, and they get used to it. They like it. They like being pampered.
Oh, I see. So they're not. You're not getting some old
Emotion.
Exactly, like Andrew Norris. You know, there he is beheading people and sticking
Oh
dogs.
gosh, no, nothing like that.
He's not paint. He's actually painting the dog itself, not painting pictures of the dog.
Oh no, it's a whole new competition era, really. Obviously, you've got from the old days of having your working terrier clipped into the old trims were very much for their working ability.
Yes.
So you know, your poodle with that the fashion trim which was, there was a reason for it. It made them buoyant when they were swimming to catch ducks that had been shot. You know, that was the reason why they had a big buoyant body. It was like it was a life buoy for them.
Yeah. Oh, I see. That's clever.
But yeah, so there's all that, and then nowadays, obviously, people do a lot more with their dogs, and people, the grooming industry in the last 15 years has probably gone fourfold. It's people do a lot more with their dogs. Obviously you've got things like canicross and agility where people do that kind of thing, and then as well you've got the grooming side, which now there's competitions where you can take your dog and clip them and trim them and paint them, and with obviously dog friendly paints and things like that, and they compete, or the owners compete, for their scissoring and clipping skills.
Gosh, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? It's absolutely. I mean, it's stunning what a turnaround from dogs which had a practical purpose, and now it's more. Well, what would you call it? I mean, it's practical in a different way. It's more artistic, and
It's artistic. I mean, dogs still have a practical purpose. I mean, you've still got the border collies that are rounding up the sheep. You've still got the terriers that are still working with the ferrets on the land. I mean, I come from the country where in the olden days, years ago, you had the hounds and you had the terriers, and they all worked. And the ones that were clipped for that purpose. And if you do go to a show ring, you'll see like a West Highland White with a particular clip, or you'll see a Český terrier, which is a Czechoslovakian terrier, with a different clip, because it would protect their organs when they're underground.
Oh, gosh, Julia was trying to say something, but she muted herself.
Sorry, Julia. Sorry.
That's right. It was my fault. I've muted myself like an idiot. With the hounds, there's all sorts of different hounds as well, isn't it? There's the deer hound, the fox hound, is there a badger hound, or was there at some point? There's wolf hound.
Yes.
The Dachshund was.
The Dachshund. The Dachshund.
The Dachshund. But interestingly, I was just looking up about the poodle. I found this phrase here, paragraph rather. Bred as a water retriever in early 17th century Europe, the poodle name comes from the German Pudel or Pudelhund, literally meaning water dog. Since a poodle's outer coat can get heavy when wet, the bottom half of the body was shorn back to help keep the dog afloat. To keep his organs warm in the cold waters, the hair was kept long over the chest and head. And bracelets of ankle hair were left to protect joints from rheumatism, and a top knot was used to keep long hair out of the eyes when swimming. Colourful bows were added during competitions to help owners identify their dogs. Furthermore, the range of fancy and experimental poodle cuts hit a peak during the reign of the French King Louis XV1. I don't ask me what that is. I could work it out eventually.
11?
But with many dogs,
16th.
16.
Louis the 16th. Yeah,
16.
He was a famous one.
Yeah, when many dogs were trimmed in decorative styles to match the extravagant coifs of the 18th century French nobility. I thought that was really interesting.
Well, in the Victorian times, it was very, very fashionable to have lots of different dogs. It was like the Victorians were famous anyway for bringing plants from different countries or foods from different countries. And the same thing happened as they went on their travels. They brought back dogs from different eras. And
they liked to collect things, didn't they?
They did love to collect. Unfortunately, they were also into taxidermy in a big way.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whether they ever had I mean, they had all sorts of weird things stuffed, wouldn't they? I wonder if they ever had stuffed dogs.
Well, yes, if you go to the Natural History Museum, there's birds and all sorts.
The last dodo.
Oh yes, the last dodo as well. Yes,
something like that.
But yeah, so it's not a new thing. Us British and our dogs, the Victorians probably started it, and they started off crufts and all the rest of it, and the ladies of gentry went to crufts with all their fine dogs from all around the world, and it's carried on from there, really. I don't know if you're sorry.
Go on.
I don't know if you remember All Creatures Great and Small.
Oh yes, I do. Christopher Timothy sticking his arm up a cow.
What was the dog called that used to bite him all the time? The Pekingese.
I can't remember.
No, I can't remember. Do you remember the Pekingese? That's what I just used to watch that as a child and think, I just want one of those.
Let me ask you this question then about dogs over the last 12 months that we've had. Have people been buying dogs as company because they're stuck inside? Do you know?
I think, I don't know.
Or to have an excuse to go for a walk. I've got to go and walk the dog.
I think it's 50-50, to be fair. I think some people have always, I breed Lhasa Apsos, or we breed Lhasa Apsos, and we haven't at the moment because I don't know where they're going to end up afterwards. And every single dog that I've ever bred, I know where they are. They send us Christmas cards and I know where they are. and it's like an extended family, and we haven't done that because I've heard of people saying, well, the kids are bored, I think I'll buy them a puppy. In fact, on Loose Women a few weeks ago, one of the ladies on there, a footballer's wife, said, oh, we bought the kids a puppy. Oh, they've changed its name 5 times. And I just thought, well, that's not what having a dog is about, is it?
No.
It's not a toy. It's not a toy for your children. But equally, if you want a puppy, you don't always have that chance to be off work 3 months.
We're losing the signal for some reason. Emma, can you still hear us? I seem to have been... We're still connected, but it's a phone call, but it's gone. Sorry about that, Emma. It's Tricky. What was it? Tricky Woo was the dog from All Creatures Great and Small. Tricky Woo. We need to play in some videos. Thank you so much for that call. Do call again, Emma. We could wax lyrical about dogs and all of those things, but for some reason the signal disappeared. But we better move on if that's all right. And we'll bung in another. We've got 2 videos to go. We've got one from Bernie and one from Richard McGowan giving us a rather lovely seascape. So let's go and have a quick glance at that first.
It's a fresh wind blowing in off the Irish Sea on the west coast. That's the west wall on the outer harbour at Whitehaven. Back in the 1700s, the town's harbour was bigger than Liverpool. Only Bristol and London were bigger. That would be when the ships were made of wood and the men were made of iron. The house in the foreground is believed to be one of the oldest buildings in the town. And between 1668 and 1671, it's believed to be where Jonathan Swift lived as a child. He went on to write Gulliver's Travels. During the American War of Independence, an American Navy vessel captained by John Paul Jones made an attempted raid on the town. The story goes that some of the landing party managed to find their way into one of the local pubs, where they apparently got drunk and managed to only set fire to one or two of the merchant vessels on the way out before the alarm was raised. It remains apparently the only attack the US has ever made on British soil.
The only attack, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? On British soil. Thank you very much. Enjoyed that, Richard. Fascinating. I love that building. That lovely old building. That was very lovely. And he said to me he's been practicing on DaVinci Resolve, which is the same editing program that I use, based on some of the tips that I had recently given him, one of my how to make PG tips taste nicer things. So thanks for that. That was good. Sorry about Emma. She did try to ring back a couple of times, actually, whilst that was being played. But we are fast running out of time, unfortunately. So do ring another day. It'd be lovely to hear more of your stories, as dogs are your thing. But I was fascinated to learn about a cockapoo, because I just thought that was just a funny fad. You know how I jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
And usually the wrong ones. I just thought, it was a silly thing, and I just thought the names were ridiculous. But there's obviously a point to it. So there we are. That taught me, didn't it? Any interesting comments out there before we go to our last video, lovely Julia?
Yes, Station Master's Choice is a great video, and I think John Paul Jones was English to boot.
Who was John Paul Jones when he was at home?
Top bass player, apparently, according to Donny McLeod.
Oh, okay. That's really good. I think an American has made an attack on Britain quite recently, says Audrey Forbes Hamilton. I don't know what that means.
Is that referring to the M&H issue?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Also for that.
Yes, M&H. I used to like their food, but not anymore. I'm not going to go and buy any of my Marks and Sparks stuff. That's a different M&H, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not an M&H.
And Robert Croser says, well, Cumbria, or Cumberland, as I like to call it, is a lovely place. It's God's country. That's what the Welsh say. And so do they say that down in the Jurassic Park, and so do they say it down in South Wales. God's country, just because it looks nice. But there we are. Bonnie says, dogs just mooched about on the estate. No walking the dog back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean people didn't walk their dogs in the 60s?
Yeah, because the dogs were just let out the back door and run off, just like your old childhood dog, Cindy.
Well, we had a farm on the back of our house where I lived, and so we would go over and stray as kids onto the farm, take the dog, and we would come back minus the dog, because the dog would either have come back on her own accord or often would just go off and do her thing. But I do find it, I mean, it's interesting that people didn't walk their dogs back in the 60s. They just let them off to run riot, did they? You couldn't do it now. I suppose there's too many cars.
There are some cultures that actually do that now. Yeah, the dogs just go off and meet up with their mates for the day and then come back at the end of the day to meet the schoolsome kids.
How life has changed. Is that now because we're just so woke we have to, put the dog on a lead? And
I think in this country it's because there's just so many people. There's a high population here, especially down south. So, and we had a big problem with stray dogs, didn't we? And yeah, we don't now.
String trees. Hello to you, string trees. It always puts nice comments on the Bald Explorer, I should just explain. He says, my ex-father-in-law used to just let his dog out. How brilliant. I hadn't thought of that. You're quite right. Don't remember having to walk the dog as such. I mean, you had a lead, and if you went into town or something, you could take the dog with you, because you'd always go into a pub with a dog. They'd always let you in. Not now. We walked our dog, says Colonel Crack. Oh, sorry, Julia.
Michael White says, my legless dog, Woodbine, likes going for a drag.
Yeah. Bless.
Made I laugh, that did.
Oh, yeah. John Paul Jones was Led Zepp's bassist. Jimmy Page was guitar. Poor bloke. He was used as a guitar, was he? Mm-hmm. He must have been highly strung. Poor chap. Yeah, oh, well, there we go. Too many dog thieves.
Dogs out. Who? That's for you, John B.
Oh, right. Yeah, too many dog thieves about now, are there? Yes. There was a, what was it, Lady
Gaga.
Oh, yeah, Gaga.
Lady Gaga's dog sitter got attacked, and two of her dogs got dognapped. Sorry. I've watched the footage. It's so sweet. I mean,
What do you mean you watched the footage? Did they film it?
No, the CCTV footage from one of the residents who lived right where it happened. It was caught on the camera. Yeah, because he was walking. I think she's only got 3 dogs, but he was walking the 3 of them, and someone pulled up next to him, beat him up, got 2 of the dogs. One of them, Asia, the little black pug, I think she is. She ran off, evaded the dog nappers, and then came running back. Once they'd gone, came running back to the stricken man on the floor, bleeding out, because he'd been shot as well after they'd beaten him up and taken the dogs. And she just laid down with him. He was just there clutching the dog until
Asia. What's the other one called? Europe or Gulf of Mexico or USSR? Are they all named after continents?
I can't remember what the other names are.
Lady Gaga's dogs. What are they called?
Let me see.
Who do you think you are, Sean James Cameron?
I'll just go and find it out. Yes, sir.
I'll find it all.
I'll have a little bit of everything, please.
Yes, please. Used to have a dog license. You still do have to have a dog license, don't you? Don't you have to have a dog license? I think we had a dog license. We had to get a dog license.
I don't think you do anymore.
Asia was one of my favourite bands growing up. What are the others called then, Julia?
Trying to blink and find. Oh, Cody and Gustav.
Cody and who?
Koji, 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 and Gustav. Or
And
Gustav.
Gustav. What stupid names for? This is a woman who walks around with meat clothes or something, doesn't she?
Well, that was once she did that.
That's all I know.
I used to be a big fan, and not so much.
I
anymore.
don't really. I couldn't pick her out in a what do you call it when you line them all up in a lineup? Yeah, I couldn't pick her in a lineup, Lady Gaga. I mean, all I know is that she wore raw meat as a dress or something. I mean, I have no.
She has done an awful lot more than just that one thing.
Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, this is the thing. I am not Mr. Up to Date, as I said before. You know, you get up to about Kirk Douglas, and then that's it. My ears sort of vaguely have the notion of. I mean, you know, it's only because there's been such extended stuff about the Meghan and Harry that I know who the hell they are. Apparently, they're married. I didn't even know that. And he's a prince, and she isn't. She's been in a TV series about a tailor shop or something.
Did I blink? How did we get back onto this again?
Well, isn't she? She's in a major television about tailors' suits.
She was in a
selling. So was it like a bit like? Well, you won't remember it, but Are You Being Served? Was she the? I'm free, Mr. What was his name, Mr. I'm free. What was the gay guy called? Mr. Humphreys. Was she playing a Mr. Humphreys type character?
No, nothing
in the
like
tailor
that.
suit shop.
The dog license has been stopped.
Oh, has it?
A long time ago, yeah.
I wonder if you can still get a black and white television license. I mean, you know, I think they come in green now with different colours on them. But I remember when we had it, it was printed in black and white. And you know, when you had your colour licence, it still came in black and white, and you went, "Hang on a minute, mate. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be in colour, isn't it? You run out of ink." I was working at a printing firm at the time with my Multilith 1250. I'll have you know, dog walkers have to have a licence. Dog walkers should have to have a licence, shouldn't they?
Yes, that's definite.
And they should have to show. Never mind the COVID vaccine licence. Dog walkers should have a licence, and they should have to show it, and they should have alarms every time their dog does a doo-doo and it's left more than a metre from them. As they walk away, hanging it up on a bush, there should be this big, embarrassing, loud klaxon horn with one of these massive arrows pointing to the person saying "twit." That's what, you know, should happen. Are You Being Served? They are fabulous comedy. Are You Being Served? Mr. Humphreys. I'm free. Is that what Meghan played? No, she couldn't have been. She wouldn't have been as nice as Miss Brahms. Maybe she was Mrs. Slocum. Is that the character she played? You've watched the series that she was in. This Taylor's.
It's nothing to do with it, isn't it? No, not like that at all.
Oh, was it a comedy?
No, it's not a comedy. It's about a legal firm.
Oh. Did she go? Did she?
Lawsuits.
Oh, lawsuits. Did she ever stand on in the thing and they go, "Racist, racist, racist"? Did she ever do that in her program?
I'm sure there was more than one episode about the issue.
No, somebody was writing a script back then for it.
Racist! Racist! Racist!
Robert Croser says, "My ex-missus makes a small fortune walking dogs for others."
Does she? Well, I mean, anybody could make a small fortune. It depends what the small is. I mean, it could be.
It's not terribly easy though, is it, to walk?
No, I wouldn't do. I want to do that. I take my hat off to Robert Croser. I'm not certainly not criticising that. I think that anybody who can take more than one dog on a lead, I've seen them walking about when I'm being filming up on the downs and whatever, and these vans arrive with about 50 dogs all let loose, and you think, never mind poor old Sherlock Holmes and the Hound of the Baskervilles, what about this poor timid-looking girl who's got out of the thing, and suddenly these dogs are going, boom, and they're going, and they're just going,
Fenton! Fenton!
I love that.
all over them.
Normally, I don't like seeing livestock or any wildlife being chased by dogs, but that was hilarious. Did anyone else see that?
Yeah, of course, the world and their brother saw it. I mean, if I saw it, the world and their brother must have seen it.
Yeah,
I
true.
don't know.
Although, oh gosh,
The world has gone nuts. Listen, we're 5 minutes past, and I want to get into these two one more video. Bernie, I'm so sorry I've left you to the last. But we must see it. We must see it, and then we can all rest assured. So we're going to go and have a look at another fascinating element of Winchelsea in East Sussex. Lovely place. I've only ever been there once or twice, I think, and I must go back because it's absolutely fantastic. So thank you, Bernie. Sorry to keep you to the end, but we always keep the best till the very end. And here it is.
There is one of the original hostelries. I can't remember its name, but you see that bricked up entrance there, and that is the entrance to one of the wine cellars that's been discovered here in Winchelsea. You can see just how high up. And you have to imagine these were all sea cliffs. All that land over there that you can see, the flat land, especially after the great storm of 1287, that was the sea. Try and see if we can give you time to read that. That diagram on the left shows you exactly what I mean about big tidal inlets. Here we go. There's a lovely wisteria here. If I'm wrong, somebody please tell me. But it looks like wisteria. And this is another of the surviving gates. This is the pipe well or ferry gate. And that would have been the only way out of this part of Winchelsea. Here we are, very much in the town centre. And on the left, there's the old courthouse and administrative offices. Leastways, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. In latter days, it's been a museum. What a lovely building though, isn't it, eh? Let's just find out. I could be very wrong, but there is a plaque here, and that would tell us yes. Winchelsea Court Hall. The foundations of which date right back to the building of New Winchelsea. And there is probably the most famous building in the town, the New Inn.
There we go, the New Inn. I wonder how new it is. It looked pretty old. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Bernie. That was lovely. And it's, as I say, it's a place that I'd love to go. Lots of history there. How you manage to stop the traffic when you're filming, I think that's very professional. You obviously got these minders out there saying, okay, we're rolling now. Stop the traffic, please.
Yeah, he's an early bird like you, it seems. He gets out early and films.
Absolutely. That's the only way to do it. I can't wait to get my van. Sprapsolutely. I can't wait to get my van and go and turn up, be there and sort of get up at the crack of when nobody's about and pull the camera out and get that early morning light. It's lovely. They filmed... Sorry, what did you say?
I said that was a lovely video.
It was a lovely video. Yes, thanks, Bernie. Lovely ancient town. And I think Kerry Baldwin says there's free maps. Free maps. Get your free map. Lovely free maps. Get your free maps here. From the new inn, which gives you the history of all the houses, which is lovely. Imagine
also,
doing... Yeah, go on.
Do we have time for Colonel Cragratty's one painting?
Do we have time for it? We have time. We can make time. He sent that in. Hang on, I've got to just find it now.
Sorry to interrupted what you were saying.
Yeah, no, don't worry about interrupting. And just wait. I've got a black screen. I've got a swirly circle. Something's trying to load. Oh, here we go. This is the back end. This is, if you want to see the back side of a climber, this is it. Here we go. Thank you, Pete. This is a lovely, lovely drawing. Hang on, I've got to find how to get to it. Bing! With all the equipment you could possibly want on I forget the name of those hinges that you stick on the belts. Julia probably knows what they're called. Not love handles.
I only know the word carabiner.
That's the one. Yes, the carabiner.
Crampons.
And crampons. And they're all clipped round to the round the waist there, next to that cummerbund, by the looks of things. And I love the licorice laces that they've got there. Oh, that's ropes, of course. Lovely, well done, and it's a fantastic picture. And that little bag that's hanging on the left hand side, not the one with the skeleton running on it, but the one down there that looks like it houses a mouse. That's an intriguing little bag,
a mouse house.
Is it a mouse house? It's very nice. Lovely blue mouse house. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Great drawing. Yes, carabiner. There we go. Workman's trousers. Yes, the bat belt, all hanging up to your love handles. Wonderful. Thank you very much for sending that in. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We come to the end of another week, an end of another show. Thank you to the lovely Julia, who's been absolutely full of beans and telling us jokes no end. To the lovely audience out there who've been typing furiously that their fingers must be worn to the bones. Bless your little bottles of slosh. And to Stephen Agger.
Lovely callers.
Yes, the lovely callers to Emma and who was the other call? Sean James Cameron called us. To Stephen Agger, to Andrew Norris, to Michael Thornley, to Bernie the Bolt. Sorry, Bernie the station master. Raymond Baxter, not Raymond Baxter, and Richard McGowan for all of that. Is it raining at your end? Is that rain up in here?
Yes, sorry, it's rain.
Because I sort of thought, well, there's a rattling going on. Is it my head again? But
yeah, the wind's picking up, the rain's dropping heavier.
Oh, yeah, we can hear it.
Yeah. Oh, joy.
Wish I could put reverb on your thing. It's because you're wired through the different desk and I don't have reverb on that. I'd love to have reverb on yours. But
I don't have any gadgets like that on my end.
No, we need to get your end sorted out.
Look, just checking.
Yeah, have a look. Want to be the first night, everyone, says Jeff Harrison. That's it. Thank you. Great show tonight. Andrew Norris says nighty night. Everyone have a good weekend, because it's even later for poor old Andrew Norris out there. I don't know how he sticks it. Can we get Richard on GMB to replace Piers Morgan, says John. Yeah, I could do the job. I wouldn't want to travel up to London, though. That's the thing. I wouldn't want to be one of them. Can I do it from down here? I'd be on the wages that he was in. That's the rain. The rain we have is East Sussex, heading your way. Is it coming my way? I'm going to batten down the hatches. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been lovely. Thank you for all your lovely comments and all of that. Thanks for the thumbs down. That's very much appreciated.
We've got 5 of them now.
Oh, we've got 5. Oh, good. Well, hopefully we've offended some people at some point in the show.
Hey. Just shake it off. Shake it off. Woo!
Superb. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We hope to be back on Mundaddy. You're going to be back on Mundaddy's show, Julia?
That's correct. I hope to be. And thank you very much, Richard, for the show.
Oh.
Show.
Show.
Together for us.
Thanks to Mark Burgess and Robert Brailsford and Robin Jones for our art and all of that, and to Colonel Craig Ratty for the lovely images of the climbers' backsides. Absolutely fantastic. And there you go. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It's nice to see you. Don't forget to support the channel. Throw a couple of £50 notes in our direction. We'll be very thrilled. And we will catch up with you next time. But from lovely Julia and I, arrivederci. Ta-ta!
Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.